So peace, peace. We're gonna look at Donald Trump versus Kamala Harris, right? Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. We're gonna take a look and see who do we think is gonna win the election based on their numbers. So numerology in the election. So the way we're gonna do this is we're gonna start by looking at each of their birthday. So Donald Trump born on 6/14, Kamala Harris 10/20. And first thing we're going to look at is each of their years. So the way this works, you go through a cycle every 9 years, every 9 months, and every 9 days. And you can use a mathematical formula to calculate these cycles. And so Trump just went into a 1 year, which is a new beginning, a fresh start. Kamala Harris went into an 11 year, which 1 and 1 is 2. But the 11 is a high spiritual number. It usually deals with testing, metaphysics. It's just a high number, a lot of energy behind it. But 1 is very powerful because it represents that beginning, a new start. So what I did to try to see if I could accurately predict who would be the president. And for the record, guys, I've done this before. I've been accurate before. I've also been wrong before. I did one on Trump before, and I was wrong. But at the time, I did not look at his opponent's numbers. I only looked at his numbers. And at the time, this is when he was running against Biden the first time, and I didn't know Biden's was going to be the actual opponent at the time. It's before they had announced Biden. And I just looked at Trump and I said, oh, he's going to be reelected because based on his numbers, it looked favorable. But then when I lost, I was wrong, obviously. And in hindsight, I looked back and then I looked at both of their birthdays side by side. It was a little more, it wasn't, I realized that, yeah, I could see how he could win. And so this time I didn't want to make that mistake. Not the end all be all. This is math, so we're dealing with probability. So there is a chance I could be wrong, but I would say based on this science math, I would say Trump has a higher chance of winning. And I want to go over what I'm looking at. And what I'm actually looking at is 2 dates. I'm looking at more than that, but I'm really basing it primarily off of these 2 dates, and even more specifically, January 6th. So January 6th of 2025, the Congress certifies presidential election results. So that's when we'll find out who will be the next president. Now, if you look at Donald Trump's number, he's under a 35-8. And I just used a simple mathematical formula where I took his birthday, 6 and 14. I added 8 because his last birthday was in 2024, and that breaks down to 8. I added 1 because it's January, and I added 6 because it's the 6th. And that's where you get 35-8. And when I go to my reference guide and I look up the number 35-8, there's some keywords that stick out, and it's preparedness, strength, inheritance, recognition, and business. It does say that today almost anything can happen, and he should be prepared for whatever comes. But it also saying demand is towards more responsibility and discipline, and it also talks about a money vibration and job advancements. And inheritances also come under this 35-8 number. And it talks about the pressures affecting his health if he worries too much. But it says get the job done, whatever the job happens to be. Now, I find that very interesting because this is the day where he'll find out whether he's president or not. Now, if we look at Kamala, we added the 10 and the 20. We had the 8 again, the 1 plus the 6, because this is January the 6th, and hers comes out to 45-9. Now, when we look at 45-9, some of the key words are old friends, partial gains, and learning experiences. But one thing that made me kind of feel that, okay, Trump is going to win it is because it says for Kamala on that day, do not spend your energy regretting past mistakes. Learn from them and proceed onward. There will be sufficient gains here for you to realize that a better use of your personal energy will bring even more reward the next time around. So I kind of feel like that's indicating that she's probably not going to win. Now, the day after that, what's interesting enough, her numbers look really good. New opportunity, good karma, success. So, I see that there, which is only kind of a little hesitancy that I have, but this 45-9 is very strong. And again, this is supposed to be the day that the actual president is announced. And then I looked at the inauguration day, the day they're sworn in, and that's January 20th of 2025. Now, for Trump, we end up with a 49-4. And the key words, which is interesting for that day for him, will be good health, satisfaction, and married to a wealthy individual. Now, obviously, he's not getting married to a wealthy individual that day, right? So you might say, oh, this is a bunch of junk. It's, that's not true. But marriage actually means two businesses coming together. If you look it up in a Investopedia, look up the word marriage in Investopedia, and it'll show you two businesses merging or coming together. But it says that this is a great day for business matters as long as you maintain an honest, persevering attitude. And it talks about not overindulging in food and drinks. And it says that he may put on weight, so be selective of the type of food you eat, which indicates celebration. Okay. And it says, through steady application, the coffers are filled and you feel a sense of satisfaction in a physical accomplishment at a job well done. And that's for Inauguration Day. Now, for Kamala, on that same day, we used the same equation, mathematical formula, and we ended up with 59. And 5 plus 9 is 14. 1 plus 4 is 5. So we're still dealing with the 5 on her. And 5 represents change, travel, communication, and keywords are travel, change, and responsibility. So it's interesting because on that day, it says for her not to take risk and that she may be more impulsive and she needs to think things through because it can cause accidents and injuries. It says there can be travel and a variety of opportunities. Excitement, movement, and romance make life interesting. Be careful that you don't follow your impulses blindly on that day. They can bring loss and slanderous talk, and your reputation can be affected. So I just find that interesting. However, the day after that for her is really good. So I think when we're looking at this science and we're dealing with probabilities, we're dealing with math, I would say I think Trump has a higher probability, but I didn't feel that it was a shoo-in. I feel that this is going to be a pretty close election. Whatever that means, we all know that the Electoral College picks the president, not the people. So, there's some that believe that that's kind of already set up and set into play, and they already know who they're going to quote unquote pick for president. I'm not here to debate or discuss the conspiracies. I have my own personal opinion, but today we're just simply using math to see if we can see who will be the president. And again, I think that if we're looking at this, I think that Trump has a higher probability, but I wouldn't rule Kamala out completely because, again, the day after these days are really good for her. So if the next day is good and anything is delayed for a day, or, again, we're dealing with time, and time really is an illusion because we know that time is constantly moving. So, if it's after 12 o'clock, that can play a role because we're dealing with the movement of the planets and we're dealing with time, which is in constant motion. It's not a specific time where it just stands still. It's constantly moving in motion. But this is going to be interesting to look at. So I wanted to put this on the record. I like to do this every election to see and look at the dates and see what our candidates are going through and see if we can get some insight. I appreciate your time, your energy. Just remember, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Check me out, TyRain.com. If you're interested, I do free readings, so you can hit me up. I give you a breakdown, let you know what you got going on. I also have an awesome Forex community where we utilize this science to help us know when are the best days not to trade, because that's just important as to knowing when to trade. So we utilize this science for that, and we actually trade. I've been trading for over 5 years, so we do real trading, but we try to incorporate this science with it to give us a slight edge. And I've seen it work. I've seen a big difference. So thank y'all for hanging out with me for this little bit of time. I hope you got some insight to this, and we'll see what happens. See you at the polls.